Hi, I'm Jim from Left Wing Libertarian.
And I am Anna from Beautygirlsmom.com.
Today we're going to be talking to you about eating the giant turkey legs at Disney.
We are not. Several months ago, we did a video that was supposed to be primarily vegetarian cuisine at Disney and on the Disney Cruise Line. It was 40 minutes of just rambling nonsense about everything but eating vegetarian at Walt Disney World. It is totally possible to eat vegetarian at Walt Disney World. Completely deserved a 40-minute video in and of itself. So we are going to dedicate at least the next 10 minutes to being a vegetarian at Walt Disney World.
Okay, so let's start with Animal Kingdom.
Okay.
Animal Kingdom, when you go over to the place where they serve the barbecue, ironically, right next to it is a place where you can get vegan and some other type of food options. You
will find at Disney's Animal Kingdom that there are carts that do only vegetarian cuisine. It's the first time I've ever seen them at Walt Disney World.
Well, after the video, we went looking for them this last time.
Well,
They've been there. We just you don't notice it.
It's the first time I've ever seen them. I don't know that the other theme parks actually have them, but I do know that they have them at Animal Kingdom.
And I think that's part of the difference between someone that's vegetarian and someone that's not. I'll give you an example. One of our favorite recommendations for a family meal at the Magic Kingdom, easy and quick, is to go to Tomorrowland. And the name of the restaurant is over by the racetrack. Do you know what it's called? Because I don't. But it's a place where you get a whole turkey and you sit down with a whole chicken.
Half a chicken. Sunny Eclipse.
Sunny Eclipse, yeah.
What is the name of the restaurant?
Yeah.
Cosmic Rays.
Cosmic Rays. But, I mean, that to me is a place that we always recommend because it's a great family thing. And for the price and the time, you get a seat, you sit down. But if you were looking for a vegan meal, it might be on that menu, but we haven't looked for it because we don't eat vegan. But the options are there. They're all around all the parks, and they're at the restaurants.
Yes.
Now, we were at, what's the name of the restaurant over at the Animal Kingdom? Not the main house, but the second one. What's that, Jumbo House?
In Kidani Village.
Sanaa. Mm-hmm. And we had the vegetarian lunch item, which was the different breads with all the sauces and the options around it, and then had a vegetarian dinner entree.
Yeah.
That was not hard to find at all.
Well, and you'll find that every sit-down restaurant will have something that they can bring you that's vegetarian. Even Ohana, which for dinner is known for their meat skewers, sort of like a Brazilian steakhouse, they can create for you a vegetarian entree so that you don't have to eat the meat. I've been there one time with one person that ordered that entree, and it was a beautiful, colorful, vibrant dish of noodles and seasonings and, like stripped, almost julienne, like strips of vegetables. It smelled delicious. It looked delicious. So it certainly wasn't, let's slap some peas on a plate and hand that out while somebody else has a big full meal. They were definitely able to create a dish with no notice at all that accommodated a vegetarian diet.
Well, I think this is a good example of bad vegan dining. On your way to Disney or back, you might find yourself stopping at Cracker Barrel.
Well, yeah. And
if you order the vegetables off the Cracker Barrel menu, they are vegetables, but they get cooked. They take this bowl of water and they drop like a ham hock in it, and then they throw the vegetables in.
Yeah, Cracker Barrel has a vegetable plate. It's not a vegetarian plate. It's a vegetable plate. And you can choose any of the vegetables that they have on their menu, but you do have to beware of a place like Cracker Barrel because they do. Green beans are cooked in ham hocks. There might even be bacon in the green beans when they serve it to you. A lot of their food is seasoned with bacon or some other kind of pork product. You won't find that at Walt Disney World. If you ask for something vegetarian, you're not going to get a stock vegetable plate. You will get a meal. Even at some of the quick service restaurants, you can go in and order a black bean burger as opposed to a regular hamburger. Ice cream, you'll find a soy-based ice cream in almost all of the ice cream shops all over Walt Disney World. So you have those snack options in addition to fresh fruit, fresh salads, snack things with, carrots or celery, stuff that you can get even at your food court at your hotel. But
the ultimate in vegan dining would be to go to Epcot and go to the German place, Ackershoes. And then you get the...
Do you mean the Biergarten?
The absolute in vegetarian dining, a beer, and pretzel nuggets.
I would have to look and see. Let me see. Does the Biergarten even have anything Actually, they do. I'm very surprised.
Yes,
they have noodle gratin.
Un beer, un pretzel nuggets.
Noodle gratin, which I'm assuming has cheese in it, so it's not vegan, but it is vegetarian. Potato salad with egg, and house-made paprika chips. The Biergarten is not known for vegetarian cuisine. You will find something you can eat, probably not worth the cost of the buffet.
And I think this is a good time to add the disclaimer. When we use the word vegan, because we're not vegan, we mean vegan with an asterisk at the end. We're not talking about whether it's pescatarian or lovo-octarian.
When I say vegan, I mean food that's prepared with absolutely no animal products. So that would be no dairy, including cheeses and milks, no eggs, purely, strictly no animal products at all.
See, when I say vegan, I mean, what do you mean you're out of prime rib? What else is there? It's just there's a range. There's such a broad range that, and again, if you're someone who's eating vegan, you're aware of this already. But the options are there, and I think one of the best things that Disney offers, especially at the sit-down restaurants, is ask to speak to the chef.
Absolutely. And they are starting this past month. You can now go and sit down, and they will give you a menu if you have special dietary concerns. And it will list for you everything on the menu that they have that would be safe for somebody that has, nut allergies or has to eat gluten-free or has been following a vegetarian diet. But again, anywhere that you go at Walt Disney World, including counter service places, including many of the pizza places, you can request non-dairy cheese on your pizza. They do have a product, and I have it actually right here somewhere, Follow Your Heart Vegan Cheese Substitute. It's a soy-based product. You can find vegan chicken nuggets. You can find black bean burgers or veggie burgers. Epcot's World Showcase. There's so many options for you, and for everything from vegetable sushi and vegetable spring rolls all the way through to really lush, delicious dishes at Chef de France. You just have to ask. If you don't see it on the menu, you just have to ask.
I think this is a good point to bring up an attempted vegan encounter we had on the Disney Cruise Line. We had a waiter who wasn't vegan. Mm-hmm. And he was asked, well, which of these do you like? And his comment kind of made a face. And the answer to that was, hey, go grab one of your partners that's a vegan to come back here for a minute.
Well, if you've ever been on a cruise, usually they bring the menus and you look at the menus, and at some point your waiter will come over and he'll say, I recommend, an appetizer, this as the appetizer, this is your entree, whatever. And you did ask about one of the vegetarian dishes on the menu, what do you think of this? He made a face that was, something like, like you don't want to eat that garbage. You did eat it.
Yeah, that's just...
It was perfectly fine. It just was not something that he preferred. And I think probably from the standpoint of, there's a steak on this menu. You'd rather eat a string bean? No. You want to eat the steak. It was in his mind that you're not going to want this dish when you see what everybody else has on the table. But last Christmas, we went to Artist Point, our favorite Christmas restaurant. You'll find bison on that menu. You'll find seafood dishes. You'll find delicious cedar plank salmon.
Bison's vegetarian?
No, but I'm saying you'll find all of these dishes that are not typically, when you're thinking vegetarian restaurants, it's not the kind of menu that you look at. Eilish ended up ordering a vegetable lo mein that was strictly vegetarian, no animal products whatsoever. What did you think of it? Thumbs up. You heard that, right? The listening audience, you heard that. No, she absolutely loved it. It was really, really delicious. So not something always on the menu that you'll readily recognize that it's a vegetarian option. If you cannot find something on the new menus, absolutely ask for a member of the culinary staff.
And I think this is another one of those sort of, I guess, if you are because our vegan dining is as a non-vegan to try stuff on the menu. Mm-hmm. Even today we had a family brunch that we went out to, and my answer for what am I eating was, Anna, what do you want to try? And pick something that she wants to try, and she picks two things that she's never had, and that's what we eat. So we're always trying something different, and our vegan dining experience is like that. Through miscommunication, I made a mistake with the wait staff, and what I got back was a plate with like one piece of fish and like an ice cream scoop of rice and nothing else on it, not even a piece of garnish. And apparently, I guess he interpreted it as like we needed something from the, like the not cooked with other things section of the restaurant or something. So I guess really communication's key there.
You asked, and I can't remember specifically how you asked for it, but what they ended up bringing you was a dish that really looked like you were inpatient at a hospital on every dietary restriction, no salt, no fat,
there was
no
like
sugar,
no sauce on the
anything.
salmon.
There was nothing. It was a completely bland, it looked just like a steamed dish. And again, with a little round thing of rice, a small piece of, fish that you had, and a couple of green stalks of broccoli. It was the most boring, unappealing plate. And you don't want that. And if you're eating vegetarian, you definitely don't want that. You don't want just a plate of steamed vegetables and rice. You want something that's, that's hearty, that's delicious, that's comforting.
Made with love.
Whether they make it with love or not, you're paying enough that you should love it. So
I think that's the point.
You want a meal. You want a good, comforting meal.
We do have a friend who is a true vegan, and their comment on this was, I'm paying just as much as the steak dinner. Mm-hmm. I want my vegan meal to look as good as the steak dinner.
Yeah.
And really, how hard is it to do it?
And you do. You are paying. You're not only paying to sit down and eat a meal, especially when you go to Walt Disney World. You're paying for the experience of dining in some of these restaurants. You want to know that you're going to have a nice meal in a nice environment. You don't want a plate of steamed broccoli. You don't want another salad. As delicious as the salads are going to be, you don't want one for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Speaking of breakfast, you will find egg substitutes. You will find waffles, pancakes, everything that they have that you can order from a vegetarian standpoint.
Hash browns, including telling you what oil they're cooked in.
Yeah, they will do all of that. So you will not be short of options to eat when you go to Walt Disney World as a vegetarian.
And I mean, on all the cruises we've been on, we've never had a shortage of eating vegan when it comes to soup or the salad entree.
No.
And then when you go to the main entree, it's usually, here's our 5 things. It's on there somewhere. It's not been hard to find. Yeah, the cruise ships will always have a vegetarian option. There will always be, some kind of a vegetable soup or a vegan soup. And if we go down the cruise lines, I mean, when we've been on longer cruises, more than just the 3-day kind of things, when we've been on longer cruises, I mean, you're cycling through the menu at some point. We have asked, the wait staff, please bring us out a small sample of the vegan meal and put it down on the table because everybody wants to try a taste of it just to see how it was. Mm-hmm. And they've always been receptive to doing that. It's so I mean, between all of the Disney or vacation experiences, you probably have the most flexibility on a cruise ship if you're there with the right waiters and you can communicate properly. Yeah. I guess between all the parks, I would think you'd have the most options at Epcot because really Epcot is just a whole big collection of restaurants. Well, I think just because there are more restaurants at Epcot, you will find, a lot more options. You also have cuisine there that kind of lends itself more to a vegetarian diet, like a Japanese cuisine or a Chinese cuisine, which, for vegan dining, I mean, their meal preparation lends itself to that type of eating. The noodles, the different kinds of noodles, the rice, sushi. I mean, they can adapt almost anything to be vegan. So your choices are pretty much limitless. But again, vegetarian chicken nuggets, black bean burgers. You don't even have to go to sit down at all of these restaurants. You can get rice dream instead of ice cream or tofutti. It depends on the location that you go to. There are differences at some of the locations. If nothing else appeals to you, go to Starbucks and get a soy-based latte. You can also bring your own food items in. When you say Starbucks, you mean Starbucks in the park, because there's a Starbucks in the park on Main Street, USA, and there's a Starbucks at Epcot by the main fountain. Mm-hmm. So, you will have something familiar. And then there's a Starbucks at Downtown Disney, isn't there? There's 2 of them at Downtown Disney Springs. Yeah. But yeah, you can do that. You can even bring in your own food. So if you're worried that you're going to get there and you're not going to find something, you can feel free to bring your own snacks or your own lunch in the park with you. There are lockers there to keep it in storage so you don't have to carry it around all day. Not really, someplace to keep a cold meal and no place to really heat it up. But if you want to bring your own stuff, you're welcome to bring it. But you will find delicious vegetarian dining options
all across the board at Walt Disney World. So don't be afraid to go because you do follow a vegetarian diet.
And again, the asterisk on this is we're not saying this because it's there and we haven't eaten it. We have eaten it. I mean,
we have eaten it. Our kids have eaten it voluntarily. We didn't force it on them. They chose to eat vegetarian options. Eilish is especially good at trying vegetarian options at Walt Disney World. So you will find food that appeals to pretty much everyone. And if they don't have something on the menu, even if you see one vegetarian entree and it's not really something that you're a fan of, talk to one of the members of the culinary staff. They will come out, they will help you, and some meals can be adapted to accommodate specific diets, including vegan, vegetarian.
Yeah, just ask.
Just ask. I am Anna from Beautygirlsmom.com. If you'd like to follow us, just hit the subscribe button wherever it appears on your screen.
We'll see you real soon.